Now, I have seen many GPT-4 clients. I have also built many GPT-4 clients, but every time I built one, it was missing something. And when you think about all the clients that you have seen, especially on no code and Flutterflow, I guarantee you they are all probably missing this one killer feature that they absolutely need to have. And that's why I'm super happy to tell you that I finally was able to build my perfect GPT-4 client that does a lot of things really, really well. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what a lot of clients are missing and what my client can do. And also by the end of the video, you will also be able to view and or clone this specific do-it-all GPT-4 client and use it in all of your applications. Now, before we get started, as always, all the apps and all the resources that I discuss on this channel are available to view and or clone from my Patreon page. And so if you're interested in leveling up your no-code game, definitely check out our amazing Patreon community via the link in the description below the video. And so here's the official ChatGPT client from openai.com. And so I can ask it any question. So let's say I ask it something like, what were the 5 main reasons why the Roman Empire collapsed? I press enter and now you get that familiar behavior. And what do you notice? Well, instead of thinking and replying all at once, it's replying word by word, and it's thinking and then it's replying word by word. And so it's not thinking for like 5 minutes and then replying all at once. It's actually thinking and sending you the answers. And this is a very, very popular feature because this way you can see the response right away. You can see, okay, it's actually coming up with a response. It's not stuck on something, even though it might be thinking on the back end, but the user doesn't know that, right? And so this streaming behavior is very, very powerful. And that's kind of what you want. When you're building any kind of app, you want to provide this amazing user experience. Now, ChatGPT supports this streaming behavior, right? So if you were going to build an app from scratch, you can implement it relatively easily. The problem starts when you are looking to do it with a no-code tool such as Flutterflow. And in fact, when it comes to Flutterflow and many other no-code builders, I really haven't seen a ChatGPT client that's streaming their responses back to their users. And so let me go ahead and show you the best ChatGPT client that I've built so far. It does a lot of things, including streaming, and also a couple of other things as well. So let's go ahead and jump into Flutterflow. And so here we are inside of Flutterflow, which is my favorite no-code builder that allows you to build just about any kind of app out there. And before I show you how I build this app, let's go ahead and run this app so that you can see absolute magic. All right, so here's the app. And by now you should probably notice the familiar screen. And this is a ChatGPT client, but it works very, very differently than the other clients that you have seen written from scratch or built with no-code tools. So let's say you ask it something like, give me 5 reasons for the collapse of the Roman Empire. Okay? You press send, and guess what you see? You see this familiar streaming behavior. Isn't that beautiful? This is what I always wanted to do, and this is what you should always be striving for, right? Because instead of having the user wait and not knowing whether the app is working or not, you are seeing the answers come in real time. Okay, so you can ask it something else. Name all the countries. Okay, hit send, and there you see it. How beautiful is that? Look at that. Okay, you can ask it something like this. List the countries, list all the countries in South America. Something like this. Okay, it's thinking, and then it replaces thinking the real response. Okay, so it gives the user very, very helpful feedback. Okay, certainly here are the countries, and you can ask it something else. What's the population of France? Okay, so something simple. Okay, and there you have it. That's the population of France. Now, this client maintains state, right? So everything that we've asked so far, it has stored. And so you can ask it a follow-up question about something that we talked about here. Okay, so I asked it the population of France, and now I can say something like, what's the capital? And because it maintains state, it's gonna know that we're talking about France. Okay, what's the capital? I send that. It's thinking the capital of France is Paris. Which countries does it border? Okay, so it knows that we're talking about France. We send that, it's thinking, there you see, right? So streaming the responses back to you. And I really, really love that behavior. And it's very, very difficult to implement it with Flutterflow. But I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'm also going to tell you how you can do it as well. But that's not all. This is a multimodal client that, apart from text, also supports images, using the newly unveiled GPT4 Vision API, okay? So all you need to do is click right here. You're gonna have a dialog box that's gonna pop up and ask you to pick an image. So let's go ahead and pick this image. And this image is an image of a beautiful dog right here, right? So we're gonna select this image right here, click open. And now if you wait, that image is gonna upload. And as you can see, once that image has uploaded, the color of this image icon here has changed, right? So it's kind of orange now. And this means that now we have an image that was uploaded, and now we can ask questions about this image, pertaining to this image. So let's say we say something like describe this image, okay? We're gonna hit send. And once we do that, we actually see the image here, right? We see the image here. It's thinking, and it's gonna come up. And it's also streaming the response back. Look at that. The image features a close-up of a smiling golden retriever dog. The dog has a light golden, creamy fur and appears to be looking directly at the camera with a happy and friendly expression. There you have it, right? So while you have this here set, right, in a different color, that means we're dealing with an image, right? So anything that you ask this AI, you know, it's going to understand that we're also dealing with this image right here. So let's say I ask it something like, what kind of a dog is it? Okay. Hit send. We have that image there. Okay, it's thinking. This model takes a little bit more time, but it's still gonna stream the response back to you as you just saw. Okay, so there you see it. The dog in the image appears to be a golden retriever. They're known to be for their friendly and tolerant attitude and their luxurious golden colored coat. Now, if you are happy with this, right, you've got your answers about this image. You can upload another image, right? So I'm going to click here and I'm going to upload another image. I'm going to upload this just, you know, random image of a cloud, right? This clip art here. I'm going to hit upload. We're going to wait a few moments. Okay. Now it has uploaded. Now we can ask it another question. What's the image about? Okay. Hit send. We're going to see this image here, right? Instead of just a text message, it's thinking. Okay. So it's telling me, I'm sorry, but I can't provide information about the image, as you've used an emoji of a cloud instead of an actual image, okay? If you'd like to share an image for me to describe, okay, so it understood that that is an emoji of a cloud, and that's pretty much it, which is fair enough. Let's go ahead and upload another image. So we're gonna click back here, and I'm gonna select this image right here. This is an image of a bear here. We're gonna hit open. We're gonna wait a couple of seconds, okay? And I'm gonna say describe. We have the image right here. This is the little icon of the image, right? Okay, and there you have it. The image displays a large brown bear in a forested environment. And so it was still streaming, right? It was still streaming as I was reading this, right? So it has a relatively, comprehensive description of the image. But what we can do is we can do something like this. Describe the image in one sentence, okay? Just to shorten things up a little bit, right? Hit send. It knows the image that we're dealing with, right? It's maintaining state. Okay, now it's still thinking. All right, there you have it. The image captures a majestic brown bear ambling through its forest habitat, peering intently at the camera. Okay, so there you have it. Now, let's say you're done with images, right? You want to go back to text. You want to ask it just, general questions that have nothing to do with the image, right? Because right now we are focused on the image. So all you need to do is click here. That's going to remove the image state, right? So as you can see, the icon is back to its kind of this darkish blue or blue default color. And so now you can ask it general questions. We're not going to be sending in the images this time, right? We're just using a regular I believe I'm using GPT 3.5, but you can use any model here, okay? And so I can say something like list 10 biggest US cities, okay? Hit send. That's going to be fast. And there you have it. It's beautifully streaming it back to the user. Certainly, here are the 10 largest cities in the US by population. You can do something like give me 10 more. Okay, hit send. And it continues where it left off, and it's still streaming it, okay? So this, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of Chat GPT for clients. Okay, we have streaming, we have state, we have image functionality. It has it all. And this is exactly what I wanted to build when I first set out to build a Chat GPT client. Okay, so now that you've seen this amazing, magical Chat GPT for client, let's go ahead and jump back into Flutterflow so that I can show you how I built this thing. And so that if you choose, you'll be able to view and or clone the same client and use it in any of your apps that you so desire. All right, so here we are back in Flutterflow. So what exactly are we doing here in Flutterflow? Well, we're not using any APIs because I'm doing it a slightly different way. I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing, but let's start with the UI, right? So I just have one page here. I have the home page, and on this home page, what I have here is I have a list view, right? I just have a column, right? Which lets me align the content, the widgets vertically. And so I have a list view here, and this list view is actually powered by fed contains, in other words, contains a list of items, a list of messages. I'm going to show you in a second what those messages are. And then I have a bunch of rows. Now, the row is for the messages, right? So I have a row card container just to kind of style it up a little bit, give it a little bit of nice styling, right? So, you know, it has that that shadow there and all these things. That's what the card does. And the container is just for padding, make it a little bit nicer. So I have a stack, which means that I will display the stuff inside the stack, the children inside the stack conditionally. That's what I use stacks for, because stack allows me to have many things that typically you would not be able to have at the same time as children, right? So like if you want to have a list view, you can't really have like multiple things. You need one child, but the stack allows me to have that. And so I have row other. This is the AI's messages, right? So if I click here, I have role assistant, but role mine is role user, right? That's kind of how it works with ChatGPT. Messages that you send as a user, they have a role user. Messages you get back from ChatGPT have a role assistant. So that's what I'm doing. So if it's essentially if it's row assistant, I'm displaying this row, and this means that it's going to be left justified. On the other hand, if it's row user, it's going to be right justified. That's kind of how message apps display stuff, right? Your messages appear on the right hand side. Somebody else's messages appear on the left hand side. Okay. Now these text widgets are the actual messages, right? So we have message other. I'm displaying the message here, and then this is my message, right? Message here. Now, for my messages, I'm also displaying an image, right? Which is conditional if the type of messages that I'm sending have to do with an image, right? Because we have two modes that we're operating on. We have the text only mode, and we have the images mode, right? Where you send an image and you ask it questions about the image. So, the app knows, right? Because it keeps track of all the messages, and the messages have types, image or text. And so if it's type is image, that we're gonna display this image along with the message, right? So otherwise we're just gonna skip this and just display the message. Okay, so very, very simple. Here in the bottom we have an icon button that if you click here, it just uploads the media to Supabase, right? And the reason we have that is because we need a URL, right? So if I take an image and I upload it, I need the URL of the image so that I can feed it into ChatGPT. I can't feed the whole image. I need to upload it first, get the URL and feed it. That's why I'm using Supabase, upload media to Supabase, which is supported natively by Flutterflow, right? So this is all supported here. And so when I click here, I upload the image gets uploaded, and now Flutterflow knows that there's an image that was uploaded that has the image URL. There's an additional state that gets created having to do with that newly uploaded image. Now, this button here deletes that state, right? It clears that state, right? So if you take a look at the action, we just have one action. It clears uploaded data. So when you upload an image, you have this additional state. When you click here, you remove that additional state. So now you don't have an image. And that's good because, if I upload an image, the system needs to know that there's an image that was uploaded, and it needs to understand that, okay, I'm dealing with that image. So send that image along with my prompt. Whereas if I clear this, the system needs to know that there's no more images, It's just a regular text chat, just a regular chat GPT that we're all kind of used to. Okay, so here we have an input widget here, input text widget. And now we have this send right here. So if I open this up, I have just 3 actions. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing is I'm saving the message, my own message. I type something, I'm saving it in app state, and I'm going to show you the app state in just a second, but I'm just adding it to a list. I'm using a special message type, data type that I'm going to show you in a second. So essentially, I'm creating a new data type, filling in the fields, right? So I'm setting in the role, I'm sending in the message, the timestamp so that we can sort the messages. And conditionally, I'm setting the type as well. So the type is going to be either image or text. And here we're checking if the uploaded file URL is set, which is that extra state that I was just talking about, right? So when you upload the image, you have the file URL, you have the image, you have a bunch of other things that are available inside of Flutterflow that you can kind of reference. So here I'm saying uploaded file URL is set, not empty. Then this type, this message is an image message. Otherwise, it's just a regular text message, okay? And here I am specifying the uploaded file URL, okay? If it's a regular text message, then this is going to be empty, and that's fine. Now, here is where a lot of the magic happens, okay? And what we have here is a custom action that communicates with OpenAI, right? So it's sending all of these requests to OpenAI, but it needs to do it in a very unique way. So you cannot do streaming using regular API calls like how you typically do. You cannot do it, right? You have to do it your own way, which is why if you're doing just a regular REST API with Flutterflow or any other app or client, it's not going to work, right? You need to have a custom way, okay? And this is where all the magic happens. And this is where I spend the most of the time on kind of perfecting it, but now it works perfectly. And so what we have here is a custom action, okay? So it's just like any of these actions, except it's custom. It does something that I'm going to show you in a second. It's called send stream request, okay? We're sending specific requests that tell the OpenAI server that I want you to start replying immediately. Don't wait until you have a full answer, right? So if I ask for like 10 reasons why the Roman Empire collapsed, it's gonna be a while, right? It's gonna take like maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds, 50, 20 seconds, still a long time, right? With streaming, it's gonna reply word by word, token by token. This is exactly what I want. Now, before I show you this custom action and exactly what it does and how I built it, I want to show you the arguments. Now, this is important because I built it in a way that it's flexible. So meaning that you can take this custom action and use it in all of your apps and not worry about the code. That's kind of the beauty of Flutterflow. It can be a black box. And so all you need to do is you need to specify your API key. You need to specify the input message, right? So this is from that from the widget, right? And then I have another condition here. So this is my type where I have a custom condition like I showed you in a second. So you can specify either image or text, or you can have a custom condition like I have here. And then we also need to specify the image URL, and this is just the uploaded file URL, okay? So if you're going to be using this app and you want to have the same functionality, you want to have that streaming behavior, you can use this custom action and you don't have to worry about how I built it. All you need to do is just add it here once you have the code, and then you can simply add your parameters like your API key and all of these other things, and it's going to work out of the box. It's going to work automatically. And last but not least, I'm just clearing the input field. So when you enter it, it sends it, it clears it so that it's empty for the next message, okay? So that's what we have. Now, before I show you the custom action that I built, let me show you my app state. Very, very important because you want to have very, very similar app state, okay? So if I come over here, the first thing I want to show you is my message type, okay? And this thing is a message type. It's like a complex variable because it contains other variables, and it contains 5 different types. So 5 different fields. And so it has the type, the role, the message, image URL, and timestamp, okay? So all of these are important, and if you're dealing with image messages about the image, you're gonna fill all of them. If you're dealing with just text messages without images, you're not gonna be filling this, and type is going to be just type is gonna be text, but for images, type is gonna be image. But if you're sending just text, this is gonna be empty. So it's important to have all of these. Now for the app state, I have this messages here, which is a list of this message type data type here. So it's essentially, it's a list, it's an array of these messages that I just showed you, right? These things here. And this is very, very important because this is essentially the lifeline of the app, right? This is essentially what the app shows, where the messages are saved, etc., etc. So when we go back to the UI, you can see this list view here, right? It gets these messages, right? It's this app state and it gets the items, right? And I'm also sorting the items by timestamp, right? So that way I can see the newest messages on the bottom. I'm essentially sorting in a way where the newest messages are on the bottom, which is where you're typing, which is kind of the behavior. And so this allows me to sort them, and it allows me to feed all of these messages to this list view here, okay? And so that's the UI, right? Now let me show you the most important thing. And this is the thing that you have to worry least about, right? So if we go into custom code, I have this custom action. This is the part where I spend the most time on to kind of perfect it, because it's not very straightforward to do. And thankfully, I expose a bunch of things here. I expose this. I expose all of these arguments that you just need to fill in your API key, your message, the type of message, the image URL, and the function. The custom action will take care of the rest. There's lots of things happening, but essentially what we are doing here is we are sending our own API call, but we're sending it in a way that tells the system that we want streaming to be true. But not only do we have to do this, but we also need to handle it correctly, right? So here I'm setting the thinking message, and then once we get data, I'm clearing this message. And so there's lots of things happening here, but because this is a no-code channel, you don't really have to worry about the actual code here, right? This is a module that I built that's going to be available to you if you want. If you need this kind of functionality, you can leverage it. All you need to do is fill out all of these arguments that I am exposing here. And so if you go back here, and essentially where I have, where I'm sending the message and I'm using this custom action, you need to fill out these parameters. So things like API key, message, type, and image URL. And so once you install this custom action, you set it up in your app and you use it in one of your flows, all you have to do is include these parameters here. And this lets the custom action to essentially make requests to OpenAI using the provided API key, get data, and then update app state so that you're seeing new messages. But not only are you seeing new messages, you're also seeing that streaming behavior. And all of that is done because of this custom action, but also because it's updating state. And so the app is constantly rebuilding, which gives that reactive kind of magical behavior that a lot of users, if not all users, absolutely love. And so you can easily put this custom action to use in any of your apps where you're looking to get that beautiful streaming behavior from OpenAI. And this works pretty much with any of their models, right? All of their models, at least all of their latest models, support streaming, and this is going to work with those models, and that gives it that really, really nice behavior. And so as you've probably already noticed, I'm very, very proud of this app that I built. This is the kind of app that I wanted to build from the beginning, but back then I had no idea how to do it. It took me some time to do it correctly, and as a result, we can see that beautiful behavior. And so if you're looking at this app and you're thinking to yourself, I want that streaming behavior in my apps, or I want to build a ChatGPT client that supports images, or I want a ChatGPT client that supports something else, but I want that functionality that you've showcased here, then you definitely want to view and or clone this app. And you can do just that when you join our amazing Patreon community. Because remember, when you join our incredible, rapidly growing Patreon community, lots of awesome people there, people that just want to learn, be the best that they can be when it comes to no code, build amazing apps, solve amazing problems. You're not only going to get access to this app, you're going to get access to all my apps. And I built all kinds of apps there that do all kinds of things. And I'm always trying to build more and more powerful apps. So not only are you going to get access to all the apps that I built so far, you're also going to get access to all the future apps. And as you know, I'm always trying to build innovative apps. I'm always trying to kind of step beyond what I had before and kind of go further and go farther and build more and more amazing apps. And so you're going to get access to a library of amazing apps, including this one, which means that you don't have to build your own custom action that does streaming. You can just use what I have here, just plug in your API key, clone this app, and you can get started right away. But that's not all. You're also going to get access to extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind the scenes content, and our amazing Patreon supported masterclass series where I do deep dives on specific topics that the community wants to know more about. And in fact, just recently I did a comprehensive Q&A. A lot of people really loved it. They got a ton of value out of it. And just a couple of days ago, I did a deep dive on a very popular tool that a lot of people really connected with. And in fact, I'm planning to do another deep dive fairly soon, so you definitely do not want to miss out. But above all, when you join our amazing Patreon community, you're going to be supporting me and supporting my work. And so if you're getting value out of this channel, if you're learning something, and from what I gather, a lot of people learn a lot and they find the content very easy to follow, then you definitely want to make sure that you're a member of our incredible Patreon community. And you can learn more about it via the link below the video.